All right, guys, quick cuts from the Daniel Green, aka Danny Diesel podcast, coming right up. Hope you enjoy. If you haven't done it yet, guys, hit the like button. Come on, make a comment. Tell us how much you like this stuff. Let's go.
So I met the 1320 crew at the ice cream cruise in 2020, and they just, I guess, followed me around for a few days, and it was kind of weird because I was expecting, I should never expect, but I was expecting that video to come out sooner than it did. Mm-hmm. So that event's in August. That video didn't come out until January of this year.
Wow.
And so I was sitting at work, messing around on my phone, working, and all of a sudden my social media just went boom. I was like, what the heck is going on? I started getting subscribers from all over the place, started getting messages from all over the place. I was like, what's going on? And then I just started reading some of the messages, and yeah, the video was released, and they tell my story pretty well. So
that's awesome. It's a great video. I watched it again today. I watched it, I think, the night after we met, and then again today, because I was like, I gotta reintroduce myself to that video. You know, it's a good one.
Right. So everybody's probably wondering what that video is about.
Yeah.
So if you want to dive, if you're ready to dive into the story, let's do it, man.
Let's do it,
dude. So where to start? Where to start with the story? So in 2019, it was probably August, September of 2019. I started manifesting an idea to travel the country to inspire other people.
Yeah.
But I really didn't know how to do that, or I didn't have an avenue to do that with. So I just kept manifesting the idea over and over and over. That's kind of how I come up with a lot of my crazy ideas. And I just started putting the puzzle pieces together. So in October 2019, I bought a race trailer. In November of 2019, I went to a buddy of mine. We flew to Arizona. We rented the biggest U-Haul we could rent. We went over to a guy's shop and bought the race truck. We put the race truck in the back of the U-Haul, strapped the front of the race truck to the board that runs along in the front of the U-Haul, took two other straps and strapped it to the back of the bumper of the U-Haul, and then slammed the door on it and latched it. We're like, all right, that's going to work. And then I got a notification from U-Haul. They said, hey, you know what? We see you're going back to Oregon, so why don't you take this little trailer with you back to Oregon and we'll pay you? I was like, okay, that sounds fair enough.
Wait, hang on. How the heck did you get the truck in the U-Haul?
We had to load it. We had to load it onto a flatbed trailer, and then we took the ramps from the flatbed trailer and we kind of flipped them up, and then pushed the truck into the U-Haul.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we left Phoenix, Arizona, and this is in November. Remember that, of 2019. We left Phoenix, Arizona, and we thought it would have been a great idea to drive to the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
So we left Phoenix. We drove that night to the Grand Canyon. We slept in the back of the U-Haul with the race truck. Our feet were under the race truck. Our heads were facing the back door in sleeping bags. We woke up and it was about 31 degrees outside.
Oh, dang.
That was cold.
Yeah.
That was cold.
I would say so.
Yeah.
So your sleeping bags kept getting closer and closer together.
Oh yeah, dude. We were cold. Yeah, we were freezing. So we from the Grand Canyon, we went to the Salt Flats in Utah, and we unhooked the trailer. And do keep in mind the race truck's still in the back of the U-Haul. We unhooked the trailer, and we wanted to take the U-Haul out onto the Salt Flats.
Yeah.
So we ended up topping the U-Haul out at about 95 or so miles an hour on the Salt Flats.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
I get the truck, the race truck, back to Hermiston, Oregon, and we just started putting it all together. And I left. Well, rewind a little bit. So we all know what happened March 2020.
Yep.
Let's back up a little bit more. So in December, in January, and February, I basically sat behind the computer for about 10 or 12 hours a day, emailing everybody, emailing social media people, emailing sponsors, emailing magazines, letting them know what I was doing. I basically sold everything I owned to live in this trailer, and I was gonna go drag racing. I didn't know.
That's cool.
I didn't know what I was doing, but that's what I was gonna do. And a lot of people actually believed in our story, like started to believe in us. And so I rounded up a bunch of sponsors and a bunch of money, and that's what helped fund the build of the race truck. Well, now we all know what happened March of 2020. So I have a whole schedule, 20-something stops, and I'm determined to do it. Well, in March, about a third of my schedule got canceled. So
dang it.
I'm sitting here with about $15,000 of other people's money, and I don't have an avenue to advertise for them because everything's getting canceled.
Oh, dude, that's rough. That's crazy.
So from about March to April, May, I actually started backtracking and kind of contemplating on my life decisions. Was it smart to sell everything you own to go drag racing?
Yeah.
And one of my now good friends, Jeremy Wagler, he was going to have an event at his racetrack, the Diesel World COVID-19 event. Well, I called Jeremy every single week for about a month, and I said, "Are you having this event? Are you having this event? Are you having this event?" And he was bound and determined not to cancel the event. So I said, "Okay, if you promise me not to cancel the event, I'll drive 2,000 miles out to your track, and I will. That'll be the tour. That'll be the start of it."
That's awesome.
So I went out to Lyons, Indiana. I showed up on a Thursday. They were doing testing, and I was like, "Well, shoot, you know what? Let's go testing." So, unexperienced of myself, I started hot lapping the drag truck because I was so excited to go racing.
Yeah.
And I ended up blowing a head gasket.
Ooh, that's not good. So, what setup is in the truck at that point?
That was a 12-valve Cummins engine with the compound turbo setup. It was about 1,200 or so horsepower. Yeah. So, unexperienced as I was, I ended up blowing a head gasket. Well, I didn't even make it to the race because the race was on Friday, Saturday.
You're in test and tune.
Yeah, so I was just test and tune. And so I blew a head gasket in test and tune. Now, do keep in mind, I am not mechanically inclined. Okay?
Ooh, that's a good combo right there.
At that point in time in my life, I never taken a head off a vehicle. I never pulled an engine. I've never dropped a transmission. Like, I had a Husky tool set from Home Depot. Like, that's all I had, and I had a jack to change the tires.
Nice.
Oh man! So I blow a head gasket. Water shooting outside the block. I'm like, this ain't good. This can't be good.
Yeah.
So I went and sat in my trailer for about 3 hours and contemplated my life decisions again. And a guy that I talked to from a guy that I met from Hot Shot Secret Oil, he showed up, but I've only talked to him over the phone. So I was like, you know what? I know that guy. I talked to him over the phone. And so I walked up to him. I introduced myself. He introduced himself, and he says, hey, why did you stop racing? Or why did you stop testing? I said, I blew a head gasket. He's like, oh, man, that's no problem. We'll get you fixed up by tomorrow. Do you have another head gasket? I said, nah, ain't got that. So he says, no problem, man. We'll get you fixed up. You know, we're out here. We're very supportive. There was probably another 10 diesel trucks out there. Some of the biggest names in the industry were there. I was like, all right, well, let's just, we'll just go walk around and we'll figure things out. Well, he took me over to my now good friend, Levon Miller at Fire Punk Diesel. He took me over there, and they were having dinner, and they, served me dinner, and I sat down in the lawn chair, and Levon looks over at me, and he says, why'd you stop racing? And I said, well, I blew a head gasket. And he says, well, you got a head gasket? I said, no, I don't have a head gasket. I said, well, my next stop is in Crossville, Tennessee. So we're in Lyons, Indiana, around near Indianapolis. And my next stop is in Crossville, Tennessee. I looked at Levon. I said, do you know anybody that has a shop between, those two locations, between those two stops? And he says, yeah, I know a guy. He's in Plain City, Ohio. And so I pulled out my phone real quick, and I said, Plain City, Ohio, hey, that's only 300 miles this way, and then I can go that way, and I'll be there. We'll make the race. And I said, you got the guy's phone number? I'll call him first thing in the morning, and we'll get all set up. He's like, I am the guy.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so a little bit of background about that guy is he has the world's fastest diesel truck. Like
he knows his way around.
Yeah, so he's been 390. His team has been 390s in the 8th mile in his diesel truck.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's kind of like a
big deal.
Yeah, and so I was a little bit gun shy, and then he invited me over to his shop to change a head gasket. I don't know how to change a head gasket, so I show up there, and he puts me in one of the bays, and he says, have at it, man. I said, I don't even know where to start. And so that week, they kind of coached me along, and I got the head gasket fixed, and I, made a few more stops of the tour, showed up to the 1320 ice cream cruise in August. I blew the engine there, and I went and sat back in the trailer for a few hours.